With Tom Brady officially retiring and the Super Bowl taking place next week, I thought this would be the perfect time to look back and rank each of Tom Brady's 10 Super Bowl performances. There were definitely some tough calls on this list, so if you guys have a different top 10, let me know down below in the comment section. Kicking off the list at number 10, it's Super Bowl 42, where the Patriots fell to the Giants 17-14. Even with this loss, many still regard the 2007 Patriots as the greatest team to ever be assembled. In their first season together, the Brady to Moss connection was electric. Brady threw for 4,806 yards, and at the time, a record-setting 50 touchdown passes. Moss set the single-season receiving touchdown record with 23. In the regular season, the Patriots outscored their opponents 589 to 274. The Patriots defeated the Jaguars 31-20 in the divisional round of the playoffs, and then beat the Chargers 21-12 in the conference championship. The stage was set for a rematch of the Patriots-Giants Week 17 game. Heading into the Super Bowl, the Patriots were 12-point favorites, but shortly after kickoff, it became apparent that this wasn't going to be a cakewalk for the Pats. Brady was under pressure the entire game. He was sacked 5 times and also lost a fumble. He threw for 266 yards and a touchdown and led a go-ahead touchdown drive with less than 3 minutes remaining, but with the help of David Tyree's helmet catch, the Giants took the lead with 39 seconds left and ended up winning the game. Even though this wasn't a horrible statistical outing from Brady, the offense as a whole struggled, and missing out on the undefeated season makes this performance hurt even more. At number 9, the opponent stays the same. It's Super Bowl 46. The Patriots were coming off of another impressive season where they finished with a 13-3 record and earned a first-round bye. They defeated the Broncos and Ravens in their first 2 playoff games and would be rematching one of their regular season losses in the Super Bowl. The Giants won their division, but were far from clear Super Bowl favorites, finishing with a 9-7 regular season record. Brady struggled early on as he was called for intentional grounding in the end zone, resulting in a safety for the Giants. He began to heat up in the middle quarters. He set a Super Bowl record with 16 straight completions. In the game, he finished with 276 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. The Patriots had the lead the entire second half, up until Ahmad Bradshaw capped a game-winning touchdown drive with 57 seconds left. Once again, the Giants' game-winning drive was sparked by a miraculous catch as Eli Manning delivered a beautiful sideline pass to Mario Manningham. In another closely contested game, the Giants pulled out a 21-17 win. Coming in at number 8, we have the first victory on this top 10 list. It's Super Bowl 53. If you were looking for offensive firepower, you did not find it in this clash between the Patriots and Rams. Despite lacking top-tier weapons, Tom Brady and the Patriots offense managed to put together 41 and 37-point performances to reach the Super Bowl. Many thought this game had shootout potential, with both offenses finishing top 4 in points per game. However, it became clear early on that this was going to be a grimy, low-scoring affair. In fact, it ended up being the lowest-scoring Super Bowl in NFL history. Brady didn't put together a stellar stat line. He threw for 262 yards, no touchdowns, and 1 interception. But when it mattered most, Brady produced. Late in the third quarter, the Rams tied the game up at 3. Brady responded with a go-ahead touchdown drive set up by a 29-yard pass to Gronk. The Patriots were able to regain possession, run the ball into field goal range, and kick the game-clinching field goal to win 13-3. Even though the offense struggled, Brady managed to do enough to clinch the win in a tough game dominated by the defenses. Now at number 7, we have another victory, and it came in Super Bowl 39 against the Eagles. This is the game that truly established the Patriots as a dynasty. This was their 3rd Super Bowl in 4 years, and they were the last team to win back-to-back Super Bowls. The win came against the 13-3 Eagles, who had been dominant all season long and won their first 2 playoff games by 13 and 17 points. Brady outplayed Donovan McNabb, passing for 236 yards and 2 touchdowns, but more importantly, he protected the ball, turning the ball over 0 times compared to McNabb's 3 interceptions. After the Eagles tied the game at 14 late in the third quarter, Brady stormed back by leading a fourth quarter touchdown drive, followed by a field goal. The Patriots would be able to hold off the Eagles' offense and secure the 24-21 win. Here at number 6 is where the legend of Tom Brady was born at the NFL level. Super Bowl 36, Brady's first championship. Heading into the season, Tom Brady was a complete unknown, just a young backup to the Patriots franchise quarterback Drew Bledsoe. Bledsoe was knocked out of the Patriots' Week 2 game against the Jets, and the team was turned over to Brady. The Patriots went 11-3 in Brady's 14 regular season starts. After a controversial win over the Raiders in the divisional round, the Patriots beat the Steelers in the conference championship, but to win that game, the Patriots needed to rely on their former starter, Drew Bledsoe, after Brady exited the game with an ankle injury. Following the win, it wasn't clear who was going to be the Super Bowl starter. Belichick opted to go with Brady in what at the time seemed like an uphill battle. The Patriots were massive 14-point underdogs, and no one gave them a chance against the greatest show on turf. The Rams had the top offense in the NFL and a top 10 defense. The Patriots, on the other side, were playing a 6th-round first-year starting quarterback who was definitely not surrounded by elite weapons, but it didn't matter. The Patriots came out and punched the Rams in the mouth, dominating on both sides of the ball, and entered the fourth quarter with a 17-3 lead. The Rams fired back and evened the score late in the fourth. With a minute and 21 seconds remaining and no timeouts, John Madden famously said, "With this field position, you have to just run the clock out. You have to play for overtime now." The Patriots disagreed. They were going for the win. Brady completed 5 passes for 53 yards to set up Adam Vinatieri's game-winning 48-yard field goal. That win cemented Brady as the starting quarterback and jump-started his Hall of Fame career. At number 5, it's going to be a completely different type of game and result. I could totally see an argument for Super Bowl 52 being higher or lower. This is arguably Brady's best statistical performance, but the Patriots were not able to secure the win. The Patriots and Eagles went back and forth in an offensive firefight. Both offenses cruised through the opposing team's defenses fairly effortlessly. The Patriots didn't have the lead until the fourth quarter and trailed by double digits for a solid chunk of the game. Despite losing his top receiver, Brandon Cooks, in the first half, Brady brought the Patriots back. After the Eagles regained the lead late in the fourth quarter, Brady was strip-sacked on a potential game-winning drive and was unable to mount another comeback as the Patriots fell 41-33. Even though this was a loss, Brady was brilliant, passing for 505 yards, a Super Bowl record, and 3 touchdowns with only 1 turnover on a top 5 Eagles defense. We're going to flash back to early in Brady's career for his 4th best performance in Super Bowl 38 against the Panthers. After winning the Super Bowl in Brady's first year as a starter, the Patriots drastically underperformed the next season and wound up missing the playoffs. They followed that up with a dominant 14-2 regular season and a return to the Super Bowl. Both offenses came out slow as neither team got on the board in the first 26 minutes, but late in the second quarter, both teams came alive. With 3 minutes and 5 seconds left in the half, the score went from 0-0 to a 14-10 Patriots lead at halftime. Then both teams went the entire third quarter without a score and then exploded again in the fourth. With a minute and 8 seconds remaining, the score was tied at 29 and the Patriots had the ball. Brady drove the Patriots into field goal range and Adam Vinatieri drilled another championship-winning field goal. Brady was exceptional, passing for 354 yards and 3 touchdowns with only 1 turnover while mounting his second game-winning drive in both of his first 2 Super Bowls. Now breaking into the top 3, we're going to go to Brady's most recent championship win in Super Bowl 55. Brady left the Patriots after a first-round exit to the Tennessee Titans ended his 2019 season. Many thought Brady could no longer play at a Super Bowl level after a down 2019 year where he produced his lowest quarterback rating in over 10 years. The Buccaneers were one of the only teams to show interest in Brady and brought him in to complement their already talented roster. Brady already had the challenge of learning a new system after being with the Patriots for 20 years, but he had to do it with very limited training camp due to COVID restrictions. He and the Bucs had an up-and-down start to the season, but reached their lowest point when they fell to 7-5 after back-to-back losses. They closed out the season with 4 straight wins, which set them up with a wild card round matchup against the Washington football team. The Bucs held off Heineke and won a competitive 31-23 game. Brady and the Bucs went on to eliminate 3 straight Hall of Fame quality quarterbacks in Breeze, Rodgers, and Mahomes, while scoring at least 30 points in every game. The Buccaneers were slated to face off against the Chiefs in a game that many thought would be the passing of the torch from Brady to Mahomes, but that wasn't how the game played out. Brady dominated the Chiefs in the first half, getting out to a 21-6 halftime lead. The Buccaneers were able to hold off a second-half comeback and won the game 31-9. Brady completed 21 of 29 passes for 201 yards and 3 touchdowns in a near-perfect performance. Number 2 may come as a surprise to some people, but it's Super Bowl 49. When you look back at that game, I bet there's one play that comes to mind: Malcolm Butler's interception on the goal line. And rightfully so. That was the biggest play of the game and the one that clinched the Patriots the win. But what often gets overshadowed is how well Brady played. The Seahawks defense was the number 1 unit in the league. This was the prime Legion of Boom defense, led by Richard Sherman, Cam Chancellor, Bobby Wagner, and Earl Thomas. They had only allowed 15.9 points per game in the regular season. The game was tied at 14 going into the half, but the Seahawks were up by 10 at the start of the fourth quarter. Brady led back-to-back touchdown drives, carving through the defense and hitting Edelman and Amendola for short touchdowns to put the Patriots up by 4. We all know the story after that. The Seahawks got to the goal line and decided against running the ball. People can say that Brady was bailed out by the defense all they want, but fail to mention he was almost a victim to another circus catch game when Wilson hit Curse for a 33-yard pass to set them up on the 5-yard line. On the day, Brady threw for 328 yards and 4 touchdowns with 2 interceptions. Even though this wasn't his cleanest game, the level of competition and clutch fourth quarter play really just elevates this performance. And now on to Tom Brady's number 1 Super Bowl performance. No surprise here, Super Bowl 51, the greatest comeback in NFL history, and I don't know if it'll ever be topped when you look at the combination of how insurmountable the deficit was, along with the stakes of the game. Heading into the 2016 season, Brady was suspended for the first 4 games for his alleged role in Deflategate. Once Brady finally got on the field in Week 5, he was sensational. In his 12 regular season starts, he led the Patriots to an 11-1 record, passing for 3,554 yards, 28 touchdowns, and only 2 interceptions. When the playoffs came around, the Patriots demolished the Texans and Steelers to send themselves to the Super Bowl. The Falcons had also dismantled their first 2 opponents, and Brady would be facing off against the league's MVP, Matt Ryan. It didn't start well for Brady and the Patriots. In fact, it started horribly. The Falcons were up 14-0 in the second quarter. The Patriots were starting to find some rhythm on offense until Robert Alford jumped a Tom Brady pass and took it to the house, leaving Brady down on the turf. Going into the half, the Patriots were down 21-3, and the Falcons made it 28-3 in the third quarter. After being left for dead, Tom Brady went on to lead the most improbable comeback you will ever see. He drove 75 yards and hit James White for a 5-yard touchdown pass. Next possession was a 72-yard field goal drive. He followed that up with back-to-back touchdown drives, the first to pass to Danny Amendola, and the second a James White run. They also managed to convert both 2-point conversions and tied the game at 28. For the first time in Super Bowl history, we were going to see an overtime. When the Patriots won the coin toss, I think everyone knew they were going to win that game. Brady led them down the field, and James White capped the win with a 2-yard touchdown run. Brady threw for 466 yards and 2 touchdowns to secure what was at the time his 5th career Super Bowl. The icing on the cake was getting to watch Roger Goodell, the man who worked so hard to suspend Brady, present the Patriots with the Lombardi Trophy. That's going to wrap it up for this video. If you're interested in seeing more football-related content, please consider subscribing to the channel. And if you enjoyed the video, please just hit that like button. Thank you for stopping by, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day.